Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, that's the time traveling toy collector, and today we are looking at Age of the Primes Slingshot. Yep, the second Aerialbot has landed, and the next Age of the Primes action figure has landed. And I've got to be honest, I wasn't too super excited about the prospect of Slingshot. I always thought he was a little bit of a not the greatest jet design and not the greatest robot design, and unfortunately that was coupled with the fact that I think some of the early shots and early videos that some of us were seeing online, and this may or may not teach us a lesson, made his arms look really skinny and disproportionately flimsy, which became a bit of a talking point across collectors, rightly so. And I'll get onto that in a second, because I think it's a bit of an optical illusion, because in hand Slingshot is every bit as robust and every bit as posable and G1-ified as his compatriot Air Raid, who I was fortunate enough to be able to look at very recently. So anyway, before we get started, quick look at the box. Again, loving the simplistic Transformers Age of the Primes, gold on black, black on gold, with the red Transformers logo. Aerialbot Slingshot. Again, lovely artwork of both the alt mode and the robot mode in which he comes in packaged. The head is actually a really good hybrid between the animated series and the toy. There we have Superion taking up the side and the spine there. The back, of course, is the product shots, and again, even there, those arms do look really sort of odd, but I'll show you what that oddness looks like in real life in a second. So it's an authentic Transformer, thank goodness it's not a faker. And this side we have a few more of those primes perched around the well of sparks, giving some gold realness till all are one. And we're back at the front. So that's the box. That is the Age of the Primes Aerialbot Slingshot box. And here we have the main event himself. Let's move that over there for a second, and I'll just give you a chance to have a look around at this. Now, from robot mode, the one thing that I'm not happy about, and anyone who's familiar with me on this channel knows what this is going to be, he doesn't have an Autobot symbol on his chest or somewhere prevalent. I don't know why that is, and I don't like it. That is, for me, a far bigger issue than what will turn out to be his arms in a second. So there, it will give you a bit of a rotation on him there. He does have a little bit of a nose cone backpack, but actually, if you look just from a backpack point of view, there's not that much there. It's just that, so that's done well. Yes, his legs have got some fins, which will become the wings at the back there, but you know, they're tucked away, and they don't impact on his mobility. So that was a nice sort of rotation of Air Raid. Let's get him up, let's get him in hand, let's get him up close. And again, let's get a little bit tighter. It does keep jumping a little bit. I don't know why it does that. Apologies. A little tighter on that head sculpt. There we are. You can see what I mean there. I think although it's all in that sort of orange colour, it isn't a ball joint, so we do get some nice-ish tiltage. Not an awful lot of ironic expressions available there, but we do have all the other rotation you'd expect to see. But it's wonderfully reminiscent of the G1 toy, where the head was in fact the sort of connection point for Superion. You just sort of folded this bit down or shoved this bit up. I can't remember whether he was an arm or a leg. But either way, the head is what went into the slot. But yeah, I know the molded detail doesn't really allow for it on here, but there's two spaces there, and we could have had the Autobot symbol at either of those places. So yeah, it's 5 points off for the lack of an Autobot symbol on his chest. Don't know why that's the case. Very disappointed. Might have to do something manually about that. He does come with these two blasters, and I won't lie, they're a bit of a struggle to get into his arms. We're here, let's talk about the arms. If I give you that view of the arm, you'll see it looks like it's sort of an L shape. If I do it that way, it really is an L shape. So you can see it's sort of an L shape, but it's an L shape underneath here. From the side here, it's a normal shaped arm. the arm proportionately is exactly the same as you would expect it to be. There's a little moulded in fist, which we don't get much from, apart from it can hold his blasters. And this side, it does look a little thinner, but that's purely because we have that sort of L design, the sort of right angle, so a series of right angles, or a W design. You might want to call it a W design there. But again, you've got, there's sort of articulation that can give us certain angles with that, so we never have to really worry that that's there. And it's, you know, I get that it's mostly from the images that we've had these problems. Take the gun away and you can see the actual arm. But the actual arm itself is what the actual arm itself should be. It's just that there's almost this shield bit, let's say, on the underside of the arm. And again, coming back to what I was saying in my first video about the Arielbot, these new Aerialbots, G1 has been and gone, and with it came some wonderful innovations, some wonderful figures and characterizations, but some terrible articulation, and well, to like zero articulation in many cases. And you know, it's a great aesthetic from an imagination and nostalgia point of view, but it ain't going to cut it these days. And what we are seeing with this figure is, and others like it, and something I'm looking forward to seeing more of in the Age of the Primes line, is a wonderful sense of the spirit of G1, but with the engineering and the, you know, processes and mechanisms and trickery, if you like, of the modern age. And I'm here, I'll take that, I'm here for that. There is, of course, a little bit of obvious gapping in the legs, but you can see some mechanical sort of working there. Again, the surface detailing in robot mode is absolutely fine. The articulation, you know, you get everything you expect to get. Mine's just literally out of the box, so he's still quite stiff, but you get that, you get that. You get all of the articulation you want to get. There is toe tilt, there is ankle articulation with a bit of it filled in, which I always appreciate with these figures. So it, you know, there is some dynamic posing opportunities and potential for this figure, and I suspect for all of the Arielbots. And let's hope that Leo Kaiser gives us the same when he becomes manifest in the future. But yeah, I think robot mode, it does everything it needs to do. It is Slingshot as I remember him, albeit the way I remember him, he had an Autobot symbol. And he holds together well, he poses well, and he manages to do that merging of the G1 aesthetic, particularly around that head sculpt, which is, I think, really, really capturing the combination of the slightly terrible in its own way animation and the underwhelming head sculpt of the G1 figure. But this does seem to do it all. It includes even down to having that sort of boxy element around the head that, you know, is the joint that connected him to Superion. So I really appreciate the work that's gone into this. So that's Slingshot in his robot mode. Let's take a moment to see what he's like in his jet mode. And whilst I'm transforming him off camera, so you don't have to listen to me shout, swear and scream or panic because I think I'm about to break him, you can, if you wish, like the video and also drop a totally free, obligation-free subscription to the channel, so you can see future content, but only the content that you want to watch. You don't have to watch everything. There's no obligation, as I say, to that. But it really helps me get to my next subscriber milestone, which if you check it out, you can see how tantalizingly close I'm getting. So at that extra click, if you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, and you'll get to see all of the Arielbots one at a time coming into play. If you can, fantastic. If you're just happy to scroll through YouTube and pick me up and drop me off as you like, that of course is absolutely fine too. I'm just glad you're here, and I will see you back here before you can say Arielbots merge to form Superion. And here we are back with Slingshot transformed into his alt mode, which of course is a jet. And I have to say, again, really the same thing I said last time. He transforms beautifully. It's actually a really simple and straightforward transformation. I never had Combiner Wars anything, so I can't comment on if it's any good or if it's any better or if it's any worse than the Combiner Wars version. I did have the original G1 version back when the original G1 version was the only thing. It was so G1, it was just G, because we didn't have anything else. And aspects of the transformation, whilst of course more modern and more complex, it had that simplistic feel of a G1 transformation. And it was very intuitive. So again, if you're someone who, like me, sometimes can get a little bit anxious from suffers from transformation anxiety, then don't have it for this. Everything sort of connects really well. The arms connect really well. The legs work really well, using some very familiar now transformer tropes around collapsing the legs in, folding the arms in, and all in all it tidies up really nicely. So let's get him up and in hand. It does look like there's a mark on the canopy there. I'm hoping that's not something that's going to be too upsetting for me. It does look like it's got dinted somewhere along the line, but actually I can probably live with it, although I'm very conscious it's there. But yeah, we do finally have some Autobot insignia on the wings, which I'm very thankful. Nice. Again, the surface detailing is all surface detailing we've seen before, just repurposed to different parts of the figure. Some lovely deco on the wings, as I say, including Autobot insignia, and the tail there. The underneath is very Arielbot-y. That sounded stranger than I thought it was going to. There's a very nice gimmick where we have the undercarriage here, where I'm pointing there. If you can see that, let me see if I can keep us focused on that. Getting there. Yeah, with the undercarriage there, pops out the back of Slingshot's head. So that of course is quite the nice touch. But yeah, it's a really nice smooth transformation. The alt mode is very nice to handle. It's just very nice. It holds together well. There's no issues there. So I'm busy shaking him to see if anything falls apart or comes apart. A little trick that I've learned from someone that I've started following on YouTube who cracks me up and I think is genius. But he knows who he is. I hope. Yeah, I really like this, and I really like this next to Air Raid, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what we're going to get from Slingshot, from Silverbolt, who is the next Age of the Primes Aerialbot to be released. I think some time away, although we are beginning to see people having him in hand and messing with him, so that's exciting. Maybe we'll get an early release of that. Who knows? You never know with Hasbro. Weird. Sometimes you get surprised by them, and sometimes stuff gets pushed back. It's swings and roundabouts, and jets and cars, and all of the lovely stuff in between. Yeah, I have to say, it captures that G1 aesthetic. Again, not to sound like a broken record, too late, I hear you cry. But it does. It captures that G1 aesthetic, I think, really nicely, without being slavish to it. Yeah, I'm sort of super pleased, because I think the Aerialbots, they hold a really special place in my memory. Because unlike the Constructicons, which we never got over here in the UK, and I certainly never had any till relatively recently, Superion was my first special team, as they were referred to in the UK, along with Menasor, and I got them. I think I got the two in gift boxes. I think I got one set from my grandparents and one set from my mum, and then I got the Protector bots, I think, in component parts rather than in the gift set for that Christmas. Never got the Combaticons, so it's kind of nice in a way that I'm finally going to get a chance to get those as well, as and when they start materializing. But yes, Vortex is on pre-order. So from my point of view, this is a really lovely figure. He matches the quality of Air Raid, which, you know, is a good quality figure. The arms, I was apprehensive about them, but seeing them in hand, if you excuse the expression, they work, you know, and they are slightly a strange shape. They're sort of that W, depending on your perspective, it's like a little W, or it's like a blocky L shape, but that's to facilitate them, the robot mode converting into a plane. And folks, not to be too much of a shocker, if you're someone who's really keen on G1, then you know the robot modes in G1 were never the priority, really. It was always this mode. So the fact that they've got, there's a little compromise, and it really is a little compromise around a part of the aesthetic of the arm, I'm here for it. It doesn't it's everything else about it is still very much bang up to date, very, very good. And the arms really didn't bother me. And again, I think it's really an angle thing. So it's how you present or display him is whether or not it's going to cause you any grief. I very much doubt it's going to cause you too much grief. I do think it was an illustration issue or an angle of photography issue that led to the apprehension about the arm. Certainly was my case, and I very quickly realized not a problem. Anyway, are you adding Slingshot to your Transformers collection? Obviously you can tell I have, and it's a no-brainer for me to get all of the Aerialbots. I want to see that Superion in hand, and I want to see the others, because at this point in time, which is early April 2025, we have not yet seen all of the Aerialbots be released, sorry, even visually released. So I'm still excited to see what's coming up. But yeah, I'm here for it. Are you? Let me know in the comments down below. You've been a fantastic audience. Thanks for sticking around for the last 14 or 15 minutes or so. I've been the Triple TC, that is the time traveling toy collector, and this has been Transformers Age of the Primes Aerialbot Slingshot. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please do like the video, and as mentioned, a free subscription to the channel would be amazing to help me get to my next subscriber milestone. But I'm here for you regardless. It just remains for me to say that I hope to see you in a future, or of course in a past video, and that A Thing of Beauty really is a toy forever. Take care, bye for now.